previous speaker, the loudspeaker, treated my good friend, my brother, Ajaz Bhagwan, go look at your face. It's then that he decided to set up this organization. And you can imagine what type of people were presiding the debate in this house. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this first budget, which is entitled From Abyss to Prosperity, as I said, it is a responsible budget presented by a responsible government. When we have there in this budget, you have some people who have been kicked by the people of Mauritius in November. Now they are coming out of their holes. You get the leader of the MSM, who these days is very busy in tracking where his luggage is, full of you know what. But the tracking, the GPS is in his hand, trying to monitor where the luggage is. He came out of his hole, and what he said in a press conference. Yeah. In a press conference, when we entitled our budget From Abyss to Prosperity, he put a banner from prosperity to abyss. So let's see what is the prosperity for MSM. For the MSM, prosperity means a debt of 642 billion rupees on the population. This is prosperity version MSM. A trade deficit of 203 billion rupees is prosperity for MSM. A debt servicing of 21.8 billion rupees is prosperity for the MSM. A budget deficit of 9.8% of GDP represents prosperity for them, and a depreciation of the Mauritian rupee by 46% since 2014. For the MSM, this is prosperity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, do you think a country can sustain a debt of 90% of GDP if nothing is done? What does this mean in simple terms for laymen, for lay people? It means that for every 100 rupees that you have in your pocket, 90 rupees is in the form of debt you have borrowed. Only 10 rupees is for you that you have earned. This is in simple terms what it means when you have a public debt of 90%. That is 90 rupees out of 100 is a debt. When you get a trade deficit of 203 billion rupees, what does it mean? It means that you are importing 203 billion rupees more than you're exporting. Who will continue to lend you? I think all households know you can go in at shopkeeper, you get credit 1 month, you get 2 months, you get 3 months. But if you keep on not paying your debts, obviously will come a time when the shopkeeper will say no more credit for you. This is simple in simple language for a household. And we all know to distribute wealth. We all are socialists here. We are all for a fair distribution of wealth in the country. But you don't distribute debts. Just like a father, if he wants to distribute money with his children, he has to earn it. He has to earn the 1,000 rupees, then he distributes among his children. I don't think a father will go and borrow money from the bank, the 1,000 rupees, and then distribute among the children. Then when he passes away, the debt becomes for the children. It is the children who will pay the debt because the father has gone. This is what the MSM did with this country. This is what they did with the country. They make fake illusion, distributing money here and there, but what money they were distributing? They did not create the wealth. Not a single sector, new economic pole have been set up by the MSM. Not a single one. So where do you get the money? You print money, you borrow money, and then you distribute, and then you say to the population, I'm distributing wealth. Fair distribution of wealth. So a country cannot be managed in this situation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we have seen the figures, the statistics, economic statistics. We have seen where they brought the country, but we must see what was prosperity versus MSM. What they did with the Brahma Bank. Midnight, revoked the license of that bank. And what they did, late Sani Jagannath, his son, Mr. Roshi Badin, they go and take out their money from the bank. They withdraw the money because they knew in advance they are going to revoke the license of the bank. And then they revoke it, and then the simple depositors, they were stuck. A nightmare for the people. Hundreds of Mauritians had a nightmare. And these people were leading the country. These people were supposed to lead the country. The crash of BAI, it was a man-made catastrophe. It disproportionately affected the middle class, and tragically some victims passed away while waiting for justice and reimbursement. And you remember, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, what they said? When BAI, they dismantled BAI, they said no single Mauritian rupees will be injected. No single Mauritian rupee will be injected when they made the crash of the BAI. But you know how much they injected? After that, 3.69 billion in Mubank. National Insurance Company Limited, around 4 billion rupees. National Property Fund Limited, according to audit report, 14.8 billion rupees. They injected public money, public fund, wastage of public fund, which could have been used elsewhere. For pension, obviously. The Heritage City yesterday, Mr. Badin, the one who was given a rider. He was a simple minister, was given rider at his request. He asked at that time in Heritage City, they even earmarked 2.7 billion rupees in the national budget at that time to develop the so-called flagship urban development project. But you know, the project has been abandoned, but at a cost. Yesterday, the Prime Minister told us they wasted 40 million rupees as consultancy fees to street consulting. For the MSM, 40 million is nothing. And this also without any tendering procedure. Consultancy services was given to street consulting, 40 million paid, project abandoned, as if nothing for them. The Neotown scandal and Betamax. And it's good reminding on 12 February, who were then Minister of Finance, Mr. Vishnu Lakshminarayanu. All these were together. Badin, Lakshminarayanu. All these were together. They announced the unilateral terminal without negotiation of the Neotown project, leased to Patel Engineering Limited. That lease was signed in 2008. 58 acres of land was given at Lisaling for 99 years at 15 million per annum. Mr. Sudan, declared at that time. If compensation of 250 million was necessary, the government would pay it. I did nothing for them, 40 million for heritage. If we have to pay 250 million, we pay, we terminate the contract, and you know what it is today. A decade later, the people of Mauritius have been handed a bill of 1.9 billion following the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in London. 1.9 billion. The list continues, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. 5.6 million on Betamax. Wasted. Billion. 5.6 billion wasted. COVID-19. My good friend, the Minister of Health, has told you. Now the Air Mauritius saga. Another tragedy in public governance. Air Mauritius, our national carrier, was placed in the voluntary administration following cumulative losses of 868 million rupees between 2018 and 2019. Around the same time, the SBM, another jewel in the crown of the public sector, got a dramatic collapse. Can you imagine how the Air Mauritius aircraft was sold, Jiber. And on the other hand, Mr. Satar Haji Abdullah, when he was appointed receiver manager, was pocketing money. When you get the SBM saga, 40 million euro loan given to the former minister, Vishnu Lakshmi Naidu, without adequate collateral. You get losses for unrecovered debts. You get a single non-performing loan of 1.7 billion granted to an Indian businessman in the United Arab Emirates. The individual is now insolvent and facing investigation for fraud. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, when we see the 4.4 billion loan scandal to the Pabari brothers, who was sharing SBM holdings at that time? It is Mr. Haji Abdullah himself, who is also head of the Grand Toton, the firm responsible for recovering and transferring the Pabari's group debt. An affidavit sworn in Kenya accuses him of interference in the matter. The implications are doubly troubling. Other incidents further tarnish SBM reputation, which was in a point in time, there was the jewel of the crown. 1.2 billion loan to Renish Petroleum, backed merely by an email, of which only 8 million has been recovered. 90 million loan granted to late Mr. Alan Govindan, a figure already entangled in the infamous Angus Road saga. 12 billion in loans to foreign clients that ended up classified as non-performing. Toxic loan of 1.7 billion to an Indian businessman, I said previously. In total, nearly some 20 billion rupees vanished due to MSM interference in the affairs of this bank. All this when happened, can you imagine how can a director, Mr. Goufflet, director of SPM Holdings Limited, is earning 41 million rupees per year after having looted the bank, is earning 40,949,000 rupees. And all these are in official documents. Monsieur le Vice-Président, Mauritius Investment Corporation, créée pour préserver la stabilité économique du pays en période de crise, a hélas été détournée de sa mission fondamentale. Elle est aujourd'hui entachée de graves soupçons de favoritisme, de conflits d'intérêts flagrants et d'un usage abusif des fonds publics à des fins partisanes. Au 30 septembre 2024, la MIC avait investi 56,83 milliards dans 60 entités. Mais loin de refléter une stratégie nationale cohérente, ces investissements traduisent une gestion sélective orientée souvent au bénéfice de cercles étroits liés à l'ancien régime. Ce n'est pas seulement une dérive administrative, c'est une trahison du mandat public. Le cas le plus emblématique est sans doute l'octroi de 650 millions à Maury-Plage Beach Resort Limited, société détentrice de l'hôtel Maradiva, Villa Resort et Spa et de l'hôtel Sands, dans laquelle l'épouse et le beau-frère de l'ancien Premier ministre Pravin Jagnnath détiennent des parts considérables. Peut-on parler ici de simple coïncidence? Le doute est plus que permis. Autre cas aussi troublant, 350 millions alloués à Luxury Retirement Village Limited, dont l'actionnaire principal est NG Holdings Limited, propriété de M. Avinash Gopi, un proche du couple Jagnnath. Ce même M. Gopi a également bénéficié d'un financement de 100 millions via PSH Investment Limited. Pas fini, 3,450 milliards de roupies d'argent public, un véritable jackpot décroché par Nandan Gopi sous le régime précédent, pendant que tant de familles peinaient à joindre les deux bouts. Ce qui se dessine, Monsieur le Vice-président, c'est un schéma de financement préférentiel au mépris des principes de bonne gouvernance, de transparence et d'équité. Et que dire enfin du rachat à hauteur de 70% de l'hôtel Ambre pour 2,4 milliards, une opération finalisée le 7 juin 2024, entourée de soupçons persistants quant à la désignation d'un conseiller en transaction, en l'occurrence Verde, notoirement proche de l'ancien régime. Verde aurait perçu une commission exorbitante de 400 millions. Par ailleurs, la même entité opérant à travers Pulse Analytics aurait encaissé 45 millions pour la production de sondages truqués lors des élections de 2024. Monsieur le Vice-président, ce Parlement ne peut rester silencieux face à de telles allégations. Nous ne parlons pas ici d'erreur, de jugement ou de simple irrégularité. Nous parlons d'un système organisé d'appropriation indue des ressources publiques au profit d'une minorité privilégiée. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I will give you in summary the wastage and loss of public funds over the 10 years. The total wastages and loss of public funds amount to nearly 1 trillion. Listen well, I'm saying 1 trillion. You know, these people, they are funny people, really. I refer you to the budget speech of Padayachi, the last one, which is ending on 30 June. He said, Mr. Fostering economic dynamism, Mr. Speaker, sir, this paragraph 47, what is his strategy? This strategy will bring us to 1 trillion economy by 2030. Not an economy of 1 trillion, a debt and wastages of 1 trillion, not by 2030, in 2025, they brought us. I give you the figures rapidly. MIC, 73 billion. Public sector debt, 642 billion. Metro Express, 300 annual loss, and we owe 15.9 billion. CB, 7 billion overdraft. STC, 1.5 billion. Price stabilization account, 3.41 billion. National Property Fund, 14.8 billion. CWA, 5.53 billion. Pipeline, 700 million. Wastewater management, 3.46 billion. Air Mauritius Airport Holdings, 25 billion. NTC, 100 million. Airport of Rodrigues, losses, 781.2 million. Mauritius Post Limited, 83 million. Shareholders deficit in that, 2 billion. Pension deficit, 2.6 billion. Statutory bodies pension fund, even pension funds they have not left, 47 billion. BAI Mobin, 3.69 billion. NICL, 4 billion. National Property Fund Limited, 11.9 billion. Neotown Project, 1.9 billion. CSJ depleted, 25.8 billion. Betamax, 5.6 billion. SBM Saga, 40 million to Minister of Finance. Toxiclone, 1.7 billion. Pabari Brothers, 4.5 billion. Renish Petroleum, 1.2 billion. Alan Govindan, 90 million. Foreign clients, 12 billion. Rosebel Sugar Estate, 180 million. Accumulated debt, 1.2 billion. Even rental due to Vieux Moulin and Plaisance Mall, 15 million. Sugar Investment Trust, 1.4 million. When you add billion. When you add all these, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it comes to trillion. Here is the 1 trillion economy that they promised. So now the population must understand. This is the background in which we are. So when our government, we are coming with a pension reform. C'est pas du gaieté de cœur. We are coming with a pension reform because the economy, the pension is not sustainable and the economy cannot sustain it. But since we presented the budget, government listened to the people. On était à l'écoute. That's why government has set up 2 interministerial committees, which is working and will come with proposals, will come in due time to propose to the population what has to be proposed. So we are a government of the people, in the interest of the people. If you think we would like, after being elected, we would not like to be popular. Everybody would like to be popular. But populism will not feed the population in the years to come. We are in a situation, and this is the result of the mismanagement of the MSM government. This is what the people has to understand. This is what the population has to understand. That if we are in such a situation today, it's not our doing, it's their doing. For 10 years, they have mismanaged the affairs of the public, they have mismanaged the affairs of the country, and today we are having to take difficult decisions in the interest of children, our grandchildren, so that we can leave a country where we do not, on n'hypothèque pas l'avenir de nos jeunes. This is what we are preparing for in our country. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, let me dwell a bit on my ministry now. First of all, let me come to the measures announced in the budget for my ministry. In the forefront, in the announcement of the implementation of the much-awaited M4 project, more specifically the phase 1 and 2 of the project. The proposed motorway M4 project is a dual carriageway of approximately 55 kilometers, starting from Faubac on motorway M2 in the north by passing villages such as Poutredo, Hamlet, Rivière du Rempart, Plaine des Roches, L'Aventure, Pont-Blanc, Constance, Queen Victoria, Clémentia, Bel-Air, Olivia, and ending at Grand Bel-Air. The proposed motorway M4 consists of 3 phases, namely phase 1, Forbach to Pont-Blanc, 16.5 kilometers, phase 2, Pont-Blanc to Bel-Air, 13.5 kilometers, and phase 3, Bel-Air to Grand Bel-Air, 25 kilometers. Necessary budgetary provisions have been made for phase 1 and 2 of the motorway M4 project. Notwithstanding the above, we are actively investigating ways and means to ensure an earlier implementation of the project, taking into consideration the critical and strategic importance of the motorway M4. Unlike the precedent government, which had announced the motorway M4 project in its government program, but failed deplorably to execute it, this government, despite a vulnerable economy, will definitely find the ways and means to implement the project during our current mandate. This project will ensure connectivity in terms of motorway, in terms of a real ring road around the island. We are also proposing to have recourse to consultancy services for an amount of 35 million for the phase 3 to define the best alignment from Bel-Air to Grand Bel-Air, which will form part of the new motorway M4. Again, I see this opportunity to emphasize that the proposed alignment will under no circumstances affect the Vallée de Ferney. We are going to ensure that the Vallée de Ferney stays intact and at the same time preserve its biodiversity. Another colossal project announced in the budget speech is the Ring Road Phase 2, scheduled for implementation in financial year 2027-2028. It is a continuation of the first phase, which starts from Montebello to Bibis. The Ring Road Phase 2, extending over a length of 4.75 kilometers, will start around 200 meters before the end of the Ring Road Phase 1, will cross Coin Bluff Mountain and Monroe Hill through 2 tunnels to connect to the end of Boulevard Victoria at Vallée-Pitot, and will also connect to Trente-Bar through a great separated junction. My ministry intends to finalize all preparations for the project, including a definite alignment and associated pending land acquisitions, as well as the detailed design for that segment. I wish to reassure the inhabitants that any qualms or suggestions will be taken on board as and when we progress with the alignment. I have to stress here that after the phase 1 of the project, the MSM government just shelved this project as it would not have given them political mileage. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, since I have assumed office, I spearheaded the completion of several major projects, road projects, designed to improve the lives of our citizens. Some of these projects are construction of Hermitage Bypass, construction of a great separated junction at Wooton, construction of a flyover motorway M1 at La Vigie, stabilization works along Baie-Centroide at Chamarel, construction of flyover Terre Rouge on motorway M2, and construction of roundabout and access road on Goodlands Bypass. During the coming financial year, we shall be witnessing the completion of several major projects, which for some obscure reasons were not progressing satisfactorily, namely La Vigie, La Brasserie, Beausson's Link Road, Phase 2. When I assumed office, I found out that the road was a misnomer, and the village of La Brasserie is not connected to the new road. I can now assure the inhabitants of La Brasserie that they will be definitely connected with the new road, and it's only today itself that we got the letter from the Ministry of Housing, a portion of land, which will help us in connecting the village of La Brasserie to the link road. And second, upgrading of Savane Road from La Flora to Taillac. Third, construction of Flic-en-Flac bypass. Fourth, construction of footbridge at Trianon. Rehabilitation of Rochebois footbridge across motorway. reconstruction of Beauchamp Bridge at Bellombe, and upgrading of part of Hollywood Road. As far as construction of bypass in Triano is concerned, there was Duke Bridge School had some apprehension for the construction of Belgrade-Triano Link Road. I met them. We had site visit. I can assure that we are not taking any portion of land from the school. They are so sympathetic, these children and even the management. So I assured them and I reassured them that no portion of land will be taken from the school. So Mr. Deputy Speaker said, despite a tight fiscal window, the emphasis of road infrastructure investment has not dwindled. We shall endeavour to embark on a series of road infrastructure projects such as Julius Nyerere, upgrading of Julius Nyerere. In fact, next week we will be launching, and the MPs of the region will be obviously called to attend, we'll be launching the upgrading of Julius Nyerere and B1 M1 Link Road, construction of Autour Bridge at Rivière-du-Rempart, upgrading of bridge along B28 Road at Grand Sab, upgrading of Roussel Bridge. I just said construction of Parlement-Triano Link Road, the Melrose-Dubray Road, phase 1, which eventually will lead to phase 2, will also be connected with La Vigie, Flic-en-Flac, Bossons Road. Apart from major road projects as a government of proximity, we will be undertaking a series of minor and medium projects at the request of inhabitants to alleviate their daily hardship. Some of these quick win projects, of which I'm very proud to share, are reconstruction of Notre-Dame de Lorette Street in Cupid. Members of the House will be astounded to learn that the road had been closed for more than 4 years. Yes, you heard it well. For more than 4 years, as it had collapsed due to the presence of a natural cave. Despite, in that constituency, we had the Deputy Prime Minister, politique autrement. For 4 long years, inhabitants and commuters were greatly inconvenienced due to the indifference of this previous regime. Once we came to power, I initiated remedial measures. Here I'm grateful to the Road Development Authority, my 2 colleague ministers. We immediately carried out the work, and now the road has been opened to the public and to the bus, to the commuters. Second, the access road to Coriolis. The inhabitants of Résidence Antoinette had long made a request to construct a new access road connecting Antoinette Street to Coriolis Road at Midlands. The sole access to the residence is very narrow with no pedestrian facilities. Upon my request, the RDA is implementing the new access road, which follows the alignment of an existing track road approximately 270 meters long. Works are currently undergoing and will be ending by the end of this month, and probably in 1 or 2 weeks' time, the road, we are going to launch the road. And there also, we had the former Deputy Prime Minister who had done nothing. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, no relief infrastructure is complete without appropriate drainage system. Based on the recommendation of the LDA, the RDA is currently upgrading the existing drain network along classified roads with the aim to enhance resilience to climate change by improving the stormwater drainage network. A number of drainage on classified roads, construction of drain network at Midlands. We are upgrading a roadside drain at Plaine-Maillon, phase 1. To resolve the flooding problem in the village of Plaine-Maillon, a major drain project is being implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1, under constructing, comprising 1.2 kilometers of drains connecting to existing drain along A10 road from Plaine-Maillon football ground to motorway M1. Works started in May. This just started in May 2025, shall be completed in August 2026. Phase 2 will be implemented to connect phase 1 to a safe discharge. to ensure that there is no flooding on the motorway M1. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it pains me to note that also cycle lanes were built at a few places by previous government. They were left in an abandoned state due to an absence of sensitization campaign. However, as announced in the government program 2025-2029, emphasis is being laid on promoting walkability and cycling for the benefit of pedestrians and those seeking alternative and sustainable modes of transportation. We will engage in providing the appropriate infrastructure to enable cycling in a coherent and holistic manner, contrary to the haphazard and disjointed mode in which the previous regime was implementing its soi-disant bicycle lane. Upon my assumption of office, I was astounded to learn that a whopping amount of 444.7 million rupees had been committed and partly spent by previous government to construct around 31.3 kilometers of bicycle lanes, which are not being used. These cycling infrastructures are mostly located outside residential zones and have no connection whatsoever to neighboring villages or existing conurbations. Thus, why should be a surprise that most of these infrastructures are lying idle? This government promises to do things differently by ensuring that money is spent where it is most deserved. We are completely reviewing the policy for provision of cycle lanes to ensure that public money is spent diligently and Mauritius public are able to benefit from these infrastructures.
You have 1 minute to conclude, Honorable
What?
Minister. 1 minute to conclude.
I circulated.
That's circulated.
So I go to my conclusion, therefore. Yeah, the budget speech, let me say something which is important. The budget speech 2025-2026 rightly emphasizes sustainability as central to our development strategy. My ministry, through the CIA, is also finalizing the minimum energy efficiency requirements for governing bodies. This means every new public facility will be designed to consume less energy and reduce operating costs while contributing to our national climate commitments, showing our social responsibilities. This is a major milestone, aligning our national building code with global best practices in green construction. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, since you asked me to conclude,
Please conclude.
so let me go to my conclusion. I'll go to my conclusion. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this budget is not the easy way, but it is the right way. It is what leadership should look like. And I believe that in time, the people of Mauritius will look back on this moment, not as a betrayal, but as a real turning point. A moment when together we choose responsibility over recklessness, courage over comfort. This budget is more than numbers. It is about trust restored through delivery. It is about a nation that chooses resilience over neglect, equity over privilege, and long-term gain over short-term applause. Through the work of my ministry, we are building a Mauritius that is safer during natural calamities, more connected by road infrastructure, more vibrant in its communities, more inclusive in its development, more resilient in the face of tomorrow. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, a call for unity and responsibility. To those who ask, why make sacrifice now? I say this: if we delay today's decision, we will forfeit tomorrow's opportunities. To protect the next generation, we must act with foresight, fairness, and resolve. This government is not driven by populism, but by principles. We choose a path of shared responsibility and national renewal. We choose to tell our people the truth and to act in their long-term interests. We stand firm, not because it is easy, but because it is right. This budget is a bridge from the abyss bequeathed by misrule to a future of renewed prosperity. It demands courage, but offers hope. It calls for solidarity, but promises shared reward. Let history record that when faced with collapse, we did not stop, we led. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister Bhagwan.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of the debate.
Yes, the motion need to be seconded. Seconded by the Deputy Prime Minister. So the question is that the debate will now be adjourned. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move for the adjournment of the House to tomorrow, Thursday, the 26th of June at 3 p.m.
The motion need to be seconded by the DPM. The question is that the House be adjourned to Thursday, the 26th of June 2025 at 3 p.m. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The House stands adjourned.